What's happening, people, and welcome to the Ram with Dad podcast. Today, I am joined by the host, the promoter, the voice, everything you could possibly think of, the man of many hats of Oktagon, Bryan Lacey. How's it going, mate?
I'm all right, mate. I'm actually kind of disappointed because I live in Mallorca, you live in Scotland. But looking at our screens, my color, Jesus Christ, mate. You have got an excellent filter, whatever you've got going on there.
Yeah, you know it's a filter.
I am looking as pasty as you can get, mate. So forget what hats I'm wearing. What skin routine do I need to go with before we go on another podcast? Jesus.
You need to get some of that Johnson's tanning lotion, mate, and fire some of that on it. You'll be all right.
Nice. Let's do it. Let's do it.
That OBS, it can work wonders for you. You just need to download it and fire that into there.
This is the content people want, right? Forget Oktagon,
Yeah,
forget some of the biggest fights we can have. Let's figure out how Bryan Lacey can look better on these podcasts. That'd be good.
Yeah, considering you live in Mallorca, mate, you are awfully white.
Like, I live in a box, mate. You see this room? I just work. My family, they're all tanned. They're great. They're out by the pool now. They're doing their thing. But no, this is what it takes to live them the way they want to be accustomed to. So I
suppose you're too busy traveling around Europe and everything else, mate, to cold countries whilst they're living the life.
Something like that. It's funny because everyone says that you get to travel to all these places, but I just see the hotel. I see the hotel and the venue. That is it. Hotel, venue, and maybe a dangerous barbers on the way around, but that's it.
How do you find that? Have you had some wild haircuts in your times going to different barbers?
I've had some horrific ones, and again, because you kind of leave it, and it's like just because you're busy, you got your kid and your wife and your stuff and the work and everything. So you think I'll just get it when I get somewhere, but I've learned that lesson that you don't do that anymore. Yeah. I've too many times. I went to did a show in Dubai, and this guy said to me, "It's the best barbers. It's the best barbers." Queued up, got my haircut, and it was I nearly. Honestly, I nearly pulled the show just because my hair was that bad. But I walked in, I was staying with my brother at the time. He was living out there, and I stayed with him, and he just started laughing. And he said, "It's not like you got to be on TV or anything, is it, mate?" That's it. So,
hey,
that's it.
That's brilliant, mate. That's brilliant. I think it was Arnold Allen I was speaking to, and he was the same because he lived in Montreal for quite a while there. He was just like, "Yeah, I'm never getting my haircut out here again." He ended up coming back looking like Wolverine from, the last time because he was like, "Just waiting until I get home and get my haircut, and not doing that again."
Yeah, you learned a lesson.
Oh, that's it. I've had the same barber now for years. My barber actually found his dog roaming the streets, and I'm going door to door, knocking on doors, going, "Is this your dog? Is this your dog?" He's going, "No." Next minute, he comes running down from his shop going, "Is that Buddy?" I'm like, "I don't know, mate. I've only just found him. I'm supposed to know his name."
We've not bonded at that level yet.
I know, mate. Yeah. And then that was, well, I had him back at the house chilling with my dog because he had no collar or nothing on him. So I ended up putting my dog's harness and everything on him and taking him back along the road so he didn't run away from me as well.
A hero, a goddamn hero, mate.
And then he was like, "Yeah, come and get your haircut for free." I was like, "That sounds like a plan, that, mate. Nice one." So I went along, and it's just gone back to him ever since, and that's it.
How long is that then? How many years is that since the dog led you to the hairdressers?
10 years now. Easy.
See, it's one hell of a relationship when you find the right barber.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. That's a keeper. So that was fate. That was destiny bringing it towards. That's a Disney movie, basically, mate. A lost dog and two guys coming together in a platonic and business type way.
Heterosexual.
Heterosexual. Yeah. There you go.
Heterosexual relationship.
That's it. Heterosexual. That could be the name of the movie. That's it.
That's it, man. Fantastic. So, like I said, man of many hats, and maybe after a couple of these haircuts, you should be sticking on a hat. But a man of many hats. So, from hosting the weigh-ins, mate, press conferences, creating content, announcing in the cage, commentating on fights, interviewing them. Mate, you do it all. Like, how do you even fit into all of your day?
It's because it's my dream job, mate. It's like, you're doing this because it's a passion, right? You're not doing this because you're getting paid for it or because somebody's standing over the top of you saying, "Get this done." You're doing it because you love it. And that's exactly how I started. I just started talking about fights to the podcast and loved it. I've always been into combat sports of any sort. Like, you could stick on anything from old school boxing to wrestling, kabaddi. Used to love a bit of kabaddi as well, whether you class that as a combat sport or not. But all this random stuff that I always got into, and that's why I just love it. I love every bit about it, and being that close and interacting with the fighters on that type of level, being part of their experience and getting to witness what they do, and then just, even sharing some words with them afterwards, it feels like an absolute privilege. So that's sort of why I work as hard as I do at it, because they deserve it and I love it.
Fucking nailed it, mate. Absolutely nailed it. I mean, there's what other reason than that do you need, to be honest with you? I was saying the same to Reece McEwen a few nights ago. I was like, mate, like if you didn't love it, you wouldn't be putting everything that you've got into it. The hours that this stuff takes, and I don't think a lot of people realize it. But like you mentioned there yourself, even for me, I've only been doing it for this last 12 months. I mean, I've been watching. I took jiu-jitsu when I was younger. I mean, MMA or combat sports has always been part of my life, and it's something that I've always enjoyed doing. But actually seeing the other side of it now, even coming to Oktagon in Newcastle last year, it was incredible to see that side of things.
This year.
Was it?
This year, end of January. Yeah. Time
was it
flies.
January?
End of January, January 27th. Yeah.
Oh shit, it was, wasn't it? That's how much things go on. It was this year, yeah. Jesus Christ. Yeah. Well, yeah, but just seeing that other side of things, mate, is just was it? Yeah. I thought that was last year. You just absolutely blown my mind there. But yeah, seeing the ins and outs of it, how things run in the background, how it all gets set up, even at the end of the night when we come walking away from the event and we're going to go and do the post-fight interviews, there was a crew of construction men, maybe 50 of them sitting there, and then by the time we'd finished doing the press conference, half of it was dismantled already. I was like, how quick does this stuff go down?
It is insane.
Seeing it and experiencing it, mate, I was like, wow, this is absolutely incredible. So I can see why you've dove into it. And obviously you give them, your missus gives you all the time in the world to do it, but you probably do her head in if she didn't, to be honest.
It's one of the, there's been one thing, there's only been one stipulation in this relationship between me, my wife, and the other woman, that is MMA, and that is I can't watch it in bed, because there was a point where, because that's pretty much all I watch. I'm sure it's one of the majority of what you watch as well, but there's so many fights, there's so many promotions, there's so many mad fights to catch up on all the time, and doing the research for the fights, for the upcoming fights, the events. So I'd used to just fill that time where she'd be reading the book and I'd sit and watch MMA in bed, and then she'd fall asleep. I'd be twitching away while the punches came through. Yeah. One night she just sat up and she went, "Get the fuck out." And she said, and like this, never again. You're not allowed to watch MMA in bed ever again. So that's, I've honored that. I've kept it out of the bedroom, and now it's but it's all good. Yeah, she's great. She loves it, and she loves it because I love it as well. That's great. Nice,
mate. You got a wife in the bedroom and the mistress in the living room. That's
I know, mate. Honestly, it is my other woman. It is my other woman, MMA. Yeah. But yeah, it's great.
Like you say, there is just so much though, isn't there? There's only so much you can actually absorb as well. Like, you're just like, I can't. And
even the news every week, the news is moving, and there's you can literally. This is when I was doing the podcast, and I wasn't a journalist, but I was doing the podcast, and I'd go to bed. Last thing I'd look at would be the feed, and then in the morning you'd wake up and there'd be a whole load of other stuff to keep up on or catch up on, and it's even getting bigger and faster. And it used to be kind of, you just look at the American scene and follow that as well as the domestic a little bit, but there weren't as many outlets. But now there's so many outlets, so many podcasts, so many great journalists, great interviewers, all that type of stuff, that you just got so much all the time. But yeah, it's good.
That's one thing I get chinned for. Like you mentioned there, early in the morning and waiting, you're always on your phone. I'm like, I know, but it's part of what I'm doing.
If I miss it, if I'm late to this, but yes, it's part of the game, like you said, and it's a really good sign about where the sport is as well, because more media is covering it, more mainstream. Even when I look back at when I started and I'd be doing the backstage interviews at places like BAMA and stuff like that, the press there was still mainly small outlets, just people that were doing it for a passion, for to be in the sport. Now even at Oktagon, we got like the Mirror, the Daily Star, the Sun, the Zone are there, as well as all the other outlets. So it's a good sign. It's a good sign that the sport is in a great place and it's growing, and particularly like the UK, the European scene is on fire at the minute.
Yeah, that's it, mate. That's it. And the more we can get it mainstream, it's never going to compete with football, I don't think, in a mainstream sense of sports. It would be nice to see that happen in the UK, but I don't know what it is.
It's impossible. It's all because of what it is as well. It's like it is a combat sport. So it's not for some people. Like we're so desensitized to violence now. It's incredible how comfortable we are watching other humans beat the living hell out of each other, and then we celebrate it. We get, but it's not for everyone. Whereas football, in some sense, could be for everyone because it's not necessary. But I just think I used to be a massive football fan. I did a season ticket to Huddersfield Town. Miserable football fan, but loved it. Went to all the home games, as some of the away games when I could when I was younger. But as I got more into combat sports and I started to meet the athletes in combat sports, you just see the difference. Like I don't want, and all respect, there are some amazing footballers out there, and I'm sure there's some people, but the problem is there's a culture of, rolling around and disrespecting the referee, and these are our role models for our kids. They have got the biggest platform to influence our young people. And then you jump to what people will look down on, which is a cage fight. They go, there's people fighting a cage there. They're just fucking brutes. They're, meatheads type like that. And then I just want to introduce them to someone like Aaron Abbey. I just want to introduce them to people like that and go, all right, this is a kid who's inspiring, not just people around him in his gym, but across the world, people are looking at his story and taking inspiration from it. And if you want to look at somebody that's fought for every single thing that they've got, that's your guy. Then you look at a footballer getting paid 150 grand a week and he's rolling around because he got clipped, or you just like, for me, it completely took football out of my sphere, and I don't watch any of it now. I don't care if it ruins everything, because every first conversation as a man you have from England is, what football team do you support? And when I go, I don't. It kills a lot of conversations. But I feel quite passionately that our athletes get misrepresented, because I've met some of the most fascinating, wonderful, intellectual and inspirational humans just through this sport.
Yeah, 100%. And you absolutely nail it with the rolling around on the floor like fannies, mate. I'm just like, what are you doing? Get up. I had this conversation with a woman in work the other day, an Irish woman, and she was just like, oh, have you watched the football? I was like, no, like, I've told you this. I don't watch football. Like, I was like, I watch combat sports. This is what I like. This is what I get into. And I'm like, I literally watched somebody get the shit kicked out of them for 5 rounds, 25 minutes of a life beating, blood all over the place. And they walk out of there hugging each other. The respect is shown. It's all done at the end of the day. Then you flick over to the football. Someone's just had their ankle stood on and they're on the floor, absolutely rolling around.
You're not even stood on, like, and screaming at the ref and all that stuff. And I was picking my daughter up from Brownies. This was a couple of years ago, and I was walking down. You had to go past the football pitch where it was like under 10s were training, and there was one thing that happened. Part of the car, I was walking across, and I went on purposely past it to watch the kids playing. And this one kid it wasn't even tackled, but he rolled and he rolled and he rolled, and the team are all screaming, and all you saw was his dad just doing this, just shaking his head, and you're just like, well, what is that? That is the perfect example of why, it's football's a great sport, of course it is, but what it's become is for me, it takes a lot away, especially when you see it having that type of effect at grassroots level with kids. So that's one kid. I just walked past that. That there's other kids doing the same every single day on the football pitch. So football rant over.
That's it. And obviously get them into Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and see where that one goes, and see if they're going to be rolling around, because you can roll, but you ain't going to get away.
Yeah, that's right.
Someone's grabbing you and pulling you back on that one, because that's one of the first things I've said to the missus about my daughter as well. But she's getting into jiu-jitsu. Right, as soon as I can, I'm going to be taking her to her first classes. She's wanting her to go into gymnastics. I said that's fine. Look at Valentina.
That as well. It works perfectly.
That's what I've said. And I was like, and she was like, yeah, but it's a bit violent in it. I'm like, they'll teach you self-control. They'll teach you how to regulate.
But they do it in
games.
And 100%. All this, everything. But when it's kids, and this is what is so great about martial arts classes. Like, you'll sit there and you'll watch a jiu-jitsu class where you'll see black belts tearing each other up 1 second, and you'll turn around and those black belts or those brown belts or those blue belts will be teaching the kids class, and you just see it as a game. It's just like good energy, control, the techniques are being taught through fun. And then what you get from that is exactly what you said. You get these kids that suddenly have physical well-being, but then mental confidence, assurance in their own sort of self and being in those positions. Because again, if you've rolled, if you've done and anything like that, you don't think of anything but trying to survive or trying to kill the other person,
or breathe, mate. Just
or breathe. Knee on belly, just scream. What the hell is this? But that's why I think, you know, it's again part of my I wouldn't say mission, but passion for this sport is to try and shine a light on the other side of what this is, because it isn't just about getting in the cage. If I've been in gym, I've been blessed to be in gyms and in classes where you're rolling with police officers, you're rolling with builders, you're rolling with a mum, you're rolling with a teacher, politician. You do, and nothing matters on the mats. And it is the biggest cliche, but everything stops as soon as you cross that line, and it just becomes about the art and about you know, your skills against theirs.
That's it, mate. That's it. And obviously, like you said there, you try and shine that light as much as you can, and you do a great job of it. You really, really do. Like, and I've seen you across your career, man. You've gone from like strength to strength, and you just every time you're on screen or you're on the mic, captivating, mate, is one way that I can
there
put
you
it. You
go.
know what I mean? You know how to,
buddy.
you know how to grab a room, mate. You know how to grab the room. So how do you? Because I'm sitting there, like I said a minute ago, man of many hats. How the fuck does this guy fit it all in a day? How do you like organize what you're gonna do? Don't give away too many of your dirty little secrets, Bryan. You know what I mean? But line something up of like, yeah, I have a kind of structure this, a structure that. Because like I say, there's many roles in one night that you have to cover.
Yeah, I mean, some of the roles deal with themselves, like, you know, where you got to be for the commentary, you know, where you got to be to do the studio or anything like that. But everything else around it, again, it's like it's just putting the work in. And I've been blessed to commentate with and work for some great people and witness people that have inspired me on how to do it. And on the flip side, I've been with people where you go, you just turned up, you're like, you just walked here and you don't really know what you're talking about or their story. And for me, I feel like it's a responsibility. This is not a position that I take lightly. I feel blessed to be in it. I feel like I deserve it just because of the work I put in and the you know, because I care. But I feel like it's a responsibility for me. And I say this again because in Oktagon, people might not know who is in the blue or the red corner. And if I just talk in and I give you the numbers off Tapology, that's great. You'll know that guy can submit you, and that guy's got knockouts, or he's this old, or this is the physical differences between them. But if I suddenly paint a picture of their story, whether it's the struggle they've had, or the build up to this fight, or the beef between these two, and what's happened, by the time, hopefully, when they touch gloves, whether you know them or not, I've informed you enough that even inside you might have a favorite, or you might feel invested, or you might care about what happens next. So it's why I feel so happy with Oktagon, because they are storytellers. That's what they do the best. When I came to them, when I was watching fighters that haven't got the best records, but they had huge followings and like there's a very passionate crowd behind them, and even the Oktagon staff excited to see them. And then I'd find out and I'd dig in and I'd see, oh, they've had this profile piece done, and you suddenly find out about their struggle or what's happened in their past or the people around them, what's gone on. And they tell those stories really well. And that fits for me because I'm a commentator, but my whole life has been about storytelling. I was a actor, musician when I was younger. So I was writing songs, I was acting. Then I got into comedy, and my stuff wasn't about jokes. It was about stories. It was about situations. And just by proxy of, you know, everyone else on the comedy circuit doing stuff of podcasts about comedy, I thought I don't want to do that. That's my work. The only other thing that I'm into is fighting. So I would interview fighters, and for me, it was one of the greatest compliments I ever got was Brad Pickett. He is one of this is even amazing. He's one of my best mates now. Like we spoke twice today already, and we've had stupid messages, and we've commentated all around the world. But I interviewed him first, and he was the second fighter I interviewed, the second one. And I was so nervous, but I did my research. I found out about him. I found out about his stag do. I found out about his family, his kids. So when he started, he thought we were just going to be talking about how was your weight cut, how's your camp, how you feeling, what do you think your advantages in this fight? The standard questions that you get on pretty much every podcast. And then I just asked him, where do you get the Darth Vader outfit from? And he was like, what? And I was like, where did that? And he was like, well, that was great. Yeah, we did this. And I said, and how many, what is it? And I had everything prepped. And suddenly it stopped being about just fighting. And that meant he dropped his guard. He didn't go through the repeat questions. We chatted, and we instantly, like, we joked, and we had all this stuff. And it was his wife who sent me a message afterwards, and she said he's done this sport since he was 26. He's been a pro, and she said that's the first interview it's ever sounded like Brad. And I was like, that for me is the biggest compliment, because that's what it's about for me. If I can find your, and I do it in different ways as well, like. I won't necessarily just interview a person. So if I'm at the hotel, if I see them at the breakfast bar, I'll just brush past them, say good morning, ask how they are. And you'll be amazed at what you can get in a short conversation that can then be the lead in for your next conversation. And by that point, you are just chatting and their guard is down. And I've been given some of the best bits of, personal stuff, and by not doing it in a formal way, but doing it in a relaxed way. And hopefully people enjoy talking to me. I enjoy that. I'm not doing it just for that. That's not my only motivation, but I want to speak to these people. But I feel that by getting them to drop their guard, be themselves, I think that improves my commentary. It's like my secret weapon. That's what I think. I think you can put me in any room and I'll get people to talk to me, and I'll be able to tell you about pretty much everybody in there or something about them that perhaps people that have been close to them never even knew. So that's the key for me,
mate. I'm not even just saying this, so you don't know how much that has resonated with me. Like, because that's exactly my approach to this as well. Like, I even said it the other night. I got a message. Like I said, I spoke to Reese McEwen, and he messaged me going, "Mate, that is the best interview that I can ever remember having." Like, just because of how straight off the bat we started talking about Scotland, Wales, accents, lingo. Great. Mixing things up. Yeah, I mean, like, it wasn't fight.
Yeah, exactly.
Talk about the way, and let's talk about this, let's talk about that. And I find it really awkward. Like, that's just not me as a person. And
I'm not a journalist. That was my thing. Yeah. It's the best and the worst bit about me. My wife loves it and she hates it at the same time. Is wherever we are, I try and make
talk to anybody.
I'll talk to anybody. But I have these moments where I remember people that, whether they're going through a mundane job, like, and all respect to it, but, being the check-in girl at an airport and just a queue of people just rushing, and airports are awful because everyone's stressed and everybody's thinking the flight's going to leave without them or whatever else. They're all arguing. And I just have conversations with the people, and you'll be amazed at how nice those experiences are. My wife hates it because she just wants to check in.
She's one of the people that are pissed off and just want to get on
exactly.
with it.
And but again, I like it. I like speaking to people. I like humans. I think we're great, and I think if we just all just put our heads down and walk past each other every single day, then that's a total waste. So it's again, and like it's like you said, I enjoy the conversations, and I'd rather feel like it's a mate. I'm not a journalist. I have not got the qualifications, the vocabulary, or the the credentials to sit here and pretend that I am. I'm not. I'm a dickhead, and I love fighting. I love people, and that's it. I feel like it's helped me so much, just accepting that and
just embracing it. Yeah.
I love it because my daughter pretends to hate it, but she loves it because everywhere we go, something special happens, or people remember us, or we do whatever. But that's the crux of it, and it's it's that authenticity. It's the same with you. I get the same vibe, but you're just very chilled. You just enjoy doing this. There's no pressure on it to I don't know. You're not trying to get the biggest headline or whatever else. You want to have good conversations and do whatever. For that, and that's the same with me. Authenticity, like, just be authentic, be yourself, and that's that's how you can get a job like this.
I suppose that is the key, mate. I mean, that's what I say to people a few times, and they're like, "Oh, maybe you do this, maybe go and do that." I'm like, that's not really why I got into this. I mean, I just want to speak to people. I want to learn their experience, understand them a little bit more, see what I can learn from them myself, open up my own perspective to it, and just speak to people, like you say. Coming across in an interview, what's this one? Like, cheers, Q&A. Thanks for your answer. Now let's move on to the. Just ain't me.
And also, you've now been at the media days, but you go to these UFC media days, and they're sat. It's almost like speed dating, and they're all sat on the stool, and they get pushed around, and you can hear the same question. It's almost like there's an echo as they're going around. So it's the same stuff, like, and you know all the questions. How's your weight? Yeah. Who's in your camp? How was sparring? Anything in particular you worried about this fight? What areas do you think you have the advantage in? And if you could have one guy go around, ask the same questions and just distribute that, and it'll be the same. But I think there's so many good personalities in MMA as well. You look at the fighters, you look at the social media, you look at the sense of humor of the fans as well. It's not like football. Football takes itself so seriously. Serious. They sit behind desks, they wear suits. So that's not how it happens. When you play football, you're in the changing rooms, you are ripping the shit out of each other. Yet we portray it on TV like we're doing, you know,
let's see WhatsApp messages and see how professional you are.
Exactly. Yeah. Give us your internet search history for the last 3 days while you've been in the hotel, and then let's see where we go from here. But you know, I think the people and the personalities in MMA and the fans, I think the fans are funny. I think there's obviously some people get the bad side, but I think generally we are the most interactive as far as the distance between a fan and a fighter. I think we have the best sense of humor across social media and with the personalities, and I think it's a waste if you don't even try and, you know, use that or acknowledge it, because it's one of the best bits for me.
Yeah, mate, completely. Like, honestly, you say that bridge between fan and fighter is like, you can reply to an Instagram story, you can reply to a tweet, and they'll get back to you straight away. You go and reply to a footballer, you ain't ever going to hear back from them. They're not going to like your reply. They're not going to do anything. You know what I mean? No. And that's the one thing somebody said to me. Go on.
I was going to say they're controlled by the club as well. That like they wouldn't be allowed to do anything. They're basically
Somebody said to me the other day, George, you go through managers when you're trying to like link up with these fighters and get them to come on the podcast. I was like, mate, just before I carry on, that is the biggest fucking glass I've ever seen in my life. Go and show me that.
Stay hydrated, mate.
It looked massive.
Look at that. We had a goldfish, but it's dead.
Yeah, it just swallowed it. Fucking,
it's gone. Rest in peace.
So yeah, I had somebody say, do you go through managers when you're trying to link up with the fighters? I was like, no, mate, I literally just go straight to the fighter through WhatsApp, through Twitter or Instagram or whatever it is. Speak to them for a bit. Do you know what I mean? Try and get to know them. Just try and come across in friendly terms, build up that rapport, and eventually just like, would you mind jumping on? You know what I mean?
Do you know, and it's the nicest thing as well, because as you get to do more events, there was a point where, because when you're in the media room as well, and I loved it. It was exciting. It was completely out of my comfort zone as far as something that I was doing. And you end up last in the queue. So you basically, because everybody else is established and people know them from certain brands. And I was just there on my own doing literally with a camera and a microphone, just doing it on my own for my own little podcast page. Nothing. And then I did it for MMA UK as well. Did it for them. But when I first started, it was just me. And you're at the back of the queue because you're not known or whatever. And there was a point where people, even though I'd stay in the same spot, there was a point where fighters started to walk past people to come to be interviewed by me straight out of the. And I remember feeling it. There was one event in particular in Bama where I interviewed a few fighters, and and I didn't ask for it. I wasn't being a knobhead about it or anything, but they just came to me first, and I was like, that without them knowing it, that was a big confidence booster and one of the biggest compliments you can get. Like they beelined, and it was like that's awesome. That felt great.
Yeah, I bet it did, mate. That would have really built your confidence, let you know that you were on the right path.
Thought they were going to come and hit me by the speed they were coming at me, mate.
That's it. So, like, for Newcastle there, right? So, obviously, I'd done my preparation, I'd done my research and things, because that was my first media event. And I'm not
You're very good, mate. I've got to say, it was very good. I was impressed, very impressed.
Fucking winged it, if I'm honest with you. Like, I'm the same. I've got no education in this. I'm a fucking idiot. I come from a council estate in the northwest of England. You know what I mean? So, I was just like, right, let's just go for it. So, done my research pieces, and I had some structured questions and what I wanted to lay out and stuff. By the time I got to like the post-fight press conference, I was just like, fuck these bits of paper. I'm just going to ask whatever comes to my mind as I'm going along with it. But straight away, I was like, right, I just need to go, like, because I'm sitting there nervous. You know what I mean? You can feel yourself, you're shaking a bit, and you're like, I'm going to be on camera, I'm going to be on a mic. This first time doing this. How's this going to go down? I'm going to make myself look like a tit on TV, on YouTube, on whatever it's going to be. Because I'm not asked, I am a tit, but it would be better if I didn't make myself look like a tit. And obviously, I was just like, right, let's go. Boom, mic. And I just took the mic straight away. And I only asked 2 questions. And then the mic went to somebody else, and the dude must have asked about 15 questions. I was like, "Oh, can you do that?" I didn't have a Scooby Doo. I was like, I thought, "Oh, you asked a couple."
Shouldn't, mate. You shouldn't. That guy definitely was hogging the mic, but
yeah, just a little bit. And I was like, "Do you know what? So next time the mic comes my way, I'm going to get a few more." And but that was probably just learning pieces for me.
That's all it is, mate. Just the experience, and also, and I tell you what is great, and it is appreciated, genuinely appreciated, particularly working closely with Pavel and Andre. They do the press conferences in the Czech Republic, Slovakia, Germany. Our press, and this is not me just being biased, but the questions we ask, or you guys ask, are so good. Your understanding of the fighters, and I was at the German press conference for the last event in Stuttgart, and it's like different levels. And even when you speak to Pavel and Andre, they're blown away by how passionate our media and our press are. And that's from whether you want to talk about the bigger pages like your Sport Bible or something like that, or coming down to even questions like from you guys. And they were so impressed, and I was impressed as well, and it's one of my favorite things. I think we've got a journey to go on with the fans, but I think because the media are experiencing us, and and even the way we're experiencing the media in the UK, like, because we don't get that in Germany. We don't even really get, I suppose Czech Republic is the only other place where we get those sort of numbers and those that level of journalism come to us to cover the events. But I feel like that it could be like the bridge, the media, because I feel like you guys kind of get that the shows are great and the fights are great and the personalities are great and even the projects around it are working. Yeah. And that gives me a lot of faith that we can bridge that gap between where we are now and what we need from the fans in the UK as well, and what we can give to the fans in the UK as well. Not just the fans, but the fighters, stadium events, big shows, real platform, high production, high level. And our events are much more than just fight. There's an atmosphere, there's an energy. It's what is different about what we do. And I feel like the thing we're winning at the minute is the press, is what we're getting from you guys.
Well, I think it's the new wave, isn't it? Yeah, I mean, it's not it's not your newspapers, because how many people are actually picking up a newspaper these days? It's the new wave of social media and everyone that's coming through YouTube and whatever else. It's people like me. I mean, like, I'm nobody established within a journalistic background. Like, I'm literally just a guy that wants to put out these stories to other people as well and speak to these people. And it's a complete different approach to journalism than
and it's the way it needs to be. It's the way it needs to be. And I don't just mean that with we can go real deep here, mate. I don't just mean that with MMA media, but I think a media on the whole. You look at what mainstream brings and what independents do, and I feel like the independents are 100% the future, without a doubt.
Yeah, 100%. And like you say, just the projects around it as well, because I did want to bring those up as well. Like, you had the Oktagon challenge, and I mean, like, that was a massive hit in the UK. That done really, and I think being on Channel 4, like we mentioned before, about making it mainstream and bringing it to households that probably normally wouldn't look into something. And obviously having was it Paul Smith and Jake
Quickenden,
his name, Quickenden, they bringing those personalities into it as well. I think that really pushed it to a wider crowd than what normally would have tuned in to watch it as well.
Look at the rise of Dennis Frimpong. Look at him. He's flowing off. And again, a credit to him, mate. He came into the show with a plan. And it was this whole Art of War thing that he reads every single day. He said that it starts from the moment we enter the vicinity of each other, it's on. And from that, what he's done is he's built himself a big following. You look at his social media, the numbers that he's getting. He's made that through the show giving him the platform, but him taking that opportunity and making it his own as well. So, and then you got George Staines. George Staines is finally back this event, and for me, I think he is another guy. Like, I was just, when everyone pictures what an MMA fighter is, and then you introduce him to George Staines, and he's playing with he's literally playing with his Lego. you go, this is the other side. This is it. It's not just about violence. It's you know, it's a path people have chosen, but there's many different people take it for many different reasons. So yeah, it's good.
And like I say, I had Akon on just before you. I brought up Dennis Frimpong to Akon because obviously those two have.
Why would you do that, mate?
I had to, mate. I had to. Yeah, I mean, I wanted to know where the beef started. I said, "What's going on here, mate? Why are you two kicking off with each other?" I know it's Dennis's style. He goes for absolutely everybody. I'm just gonna flick up this light here because it looks like it's getting a bit dark in sunny Scotland. So yeah, I brought him up. I said, "What's the crack here? You two ever gonna throw down both lightweights?" Dennis is a fucking big lightweight, mate. He's tall. Yeah, he's really tall.
He's tall. But Akon, like he's bigger than Dennis.
Yeah, he's a big dude as well.
He's bigger than Dennis. And we were in Stuttgart, and again, Dennis had been doing what he does online and crossing a few lines as he does. He positions himself. He makes like, we're not just talking about Dennis fighting Callum Mullen, which we should be talking about because what a frigging fight that is. But we're also now talking about, well, what's potentially his next one? He got in a scuffle with Nafuka. He got in a altercation 2 or 3 times with Akon where we had to separate him. And he's called out half the Czech lightweights as well. And all of them
wants a Czech fighter.
He really wants Czech fighters. That's he said it. I'm done fighting English fighters, but stop talking about them then. But again, he's positioned himself, and this game is a chess match. You can say, "I'll just wait for my fight," or see what happens, or wait for the promoters to. And there's lots of fighters that do that, and they get very far, and they do great things. You think about fighters like Dustin Poirier or people like that, where they've not been big, you know, shit talkers through their career. They've been like epic battles in the cage. And that's what has earned them these positions where they get these big fights. Whereas there are other fighters, which whether you want to talk about Frimpong or any other heel style character that is in the world of MMA, from your Chael Sonnens to your Colby Covingtons, and they even though we don't like it, but they position themselves where, you know, whether they win or lose their next fight, you want to see them fight again.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I mean, he's a character to say the least, and I do have him and Shem coming on at the same time in a couple of days as well. Was it Wednesday?
Why are you doing that to yourself? You may as well just leave. Just press record and do you know what the best thing is? The best thing is, right? So Dennis is Dennis, and you know, I got so much respect for him, and he carries this chip on his shoulder, which he thinks everyone's against him and all this stuff. But we've had some wonderful conversations that he's never heard about what he's done or where he's put himself or the position he's in and this type of stuff. But he's the same with everybody. So I've heard Carl Prince talk about him being the menace at the gym, like he's a nightmare, like he's just at everybody all the time. I had the dinner with the Irish guys when they won their challenge. We took them out for dinner, and it was just, because there was no English there apart from me, English and Irish, obviously.
You got it.
No, I didn't get it. They just went at each other. But it all started with Dennis. Dennis started on him. Then you had Aaron versus. It was mad to see. I sat back and I was like, oh, so even if there was no English in the house, these guys would be as bad against each other. They'd still go for it.
It's part of our culture, isn't it? I think that's just what happens when you sit down with the boys,
mate. And it's the bands,
mate. But so I've got them two coming on, and like you said, that's what I said to people as well. I'm just going to sit back and just let the absolute madness unfold in front of me. I think like I could literally fire out one question into the open space and then just let it run and see how it goes.
Let it go. Yeah. Just let it go, mate. Yeah, they're great. Both of them are great. And Shem being back and signing for us is. I think it's the right platform for him as well. I think, you know, he saw that when you speak to him, there's lots of negotiations, there's other offers on the table, but he always wanted to stay at Oktagon. And you know, the end of last year with the Picorni fight not happening, but this year with Stefano Catacoli, which is a hell of a fight. It's not an easy fight for him that either, especially coming down to 68. He's
Shem weight, he's calling it.
Shem weight. We'll see. But you know, that's going to be interesting. And Stefano Catacoli feels like he's got something. Like he's not a big talker. If you put him in a face-to-face, I reckon 10 out of 10 times Shem's going to walk away winning that one. But in a cage at that weight, which is the interesting factor to me, it makes me wonder what Catacoli has seen, because he asked for this fight. Nobody else, and I know people that got offered it. I know some big names that got offered it and they said no. But Stefano Catacoli has said yes. He said that he knows it's his biggest opportunity, which is also a scary thing. Like when you're fighting somebody who knows this is the time where you could change everything, that brings a different dynamic into it. But Shem at featherweight, if he can make it down to featherweight, is as scary as, Akon at lightweight. He's going to be massive. I think he's going to be a real handful at that weight class as well. So, interesting.
Akon just called first round 3 minutes 33 seconds knockout, done, dead.
We'll see.
That's what he's going for.
I think this one comes down to, especially because of the back story between him and Siraj and Reza, the coach of Siraj.
Yeah,
I think it could come down to who handles those emotions. And again, it's one of the best bits about martial arts, that cerebral fighting, that stuff. They're both super skilled. You look at Siraj, I think he's got like 50 kickboxing Muay Thai fights, and he's got 31 knockouts from that. Trains at All Stars, monsters over there, number 1 ranked in Sweden. So he's legit. He is legit. And then you got Akon. For me, like you look at that Renegade Gym, you talk about Tom Breeze, you talk about obviously Leon Edwards, Fabian Edwards, Tim Wilde, many
Jai
others,
Herbert.
but Jai Herbert,
tons of guys.
Tons of guys. But I feel like the Akon, especially with where he's at and his fighting style and the fact he finishes fights, I don't understand why he's not bigger. It doesn't make any sense to me because he's got a big personality outside the cage. He's a finisher inside the cage. He's even made it to my wall. Look, there you go. There he is. Nice. That should be it. That should be the only stamp he needs. Shem's on there as well before Shem gets angry. There he is. There he is. But for me, I think he's phenomenal. But I think emotions are going to be a big thing. He's fighting in his hometown. If he can manage that, if he can handle that, as well as finally facing off with Siraj, then that's going to be that. I think that's the key. Whoever manages those emotions and drills into their technique and gets their game rolling, I think that's going to be the winner of that one.
You make a good point there with fighting in your hometown as well. I mean, you have your friends, you have your family. It's going to mean a lot more to you, and how you're going to regulate that and block it out, I suppose. I mean, or
embrace it. Again, you see different people. You see different people handle it in different ways. Some people love fighting away because they don't have to deal with the phone going off all the time. And this is the other thing you don't see, like fighters the night before, even the morning of the fight, people messaging them for tickets and shit like that. And you're like, the guy's got to fight a monster in like 4 hours, and you're messaging because you can't get into, you can't find your ticket or whatever else. But some people thrive under it, and I feel like Akon will thrive. He loves the spotlight. I just think he's never had one bright enough in his fight career for him to really shine. And that's what we need from Akon, is stuff in the cage, because I feel like he's had that Gogo Tachuri fight where he finished the guy in 1 round, but we've not seen enough of him in the cage. We've seen all this crap outside of the cage. But for him to really hit the fans and to resonate and to get the respect, not just in the UK, but with Oktagon across Europe, I feel like he's got to put a performance inside the cage. Like he's got to be the best version of himself, and that will affect everything else that comes with him. But Siraj is, he's serious. He's a serious dude. Like when I've watched his fights, and when you just be around him, he's very chilled. He's from Afghanistan, based himself now in Sweden, and he's definitely the toughest and most dangerous opponent Akon has ever faced.
Yeah, looking forward to it, mate. It should be fireworks. I said to him, I can't really see it going to the ground. I think, especially with all the bad blood that's kind of been between them, Akon thinks it's going to go everywhere.
I can see it going to the ground. I think Akon could take him there, because another thing, Akon gets boxed as this striker.
4 submissions under his belt so far.
He's got 4 submissions, and he's like, if you look at the grappling, the sessions they're doing down at Renegade, it's a solid mat, mate. And I feel like he hasn't shown everything. So I feel that could be it. And if you know what, it's the other key to martial arts is get your roots to victory, and particularly because he's in this game changer, he will fight, or Siraj will fight Ligersky on June the 8th.
Yeah,
in the football stadium in the Czech Republic, in front of 27,000 fans. So get past this first round. Whatever the quickest route is to getting the victory for either of these guys, that should be the tactics going in. You can think, right, I'm going to avenge my coach, or I'm going to do whatever. But, you know, there's big things on the line here. There's life-changing money in this tip sport, game changer. We saw what it did to Velichkovic last year. He went from almost retiring from the sport to, you know, the biggest run of his career, the biggest paychecks of his career, winning 300,000 euros by the end of it. So, you know, it will be a fool's game to just go and think, I'll sling leather with these guys. I feel like Akon, I would, you know, I'm not a betting man. I don't do it, especially not on this sport, just because it's impossible.
It's so wild, yeah.
It's ridiculous. But if I were to be putting money, I reckon Akon might take him down and look to submit him on the ground.
Right, okay, he thinks he's going to shoot first. He thinks Siraj is going to shoot first, but obviously you're going to say that, aren't we? So obviously, mate, I know you need to be professional. I know you need to be as unbiased as possible within these things, but you could look at it in a way. So what fight are you most looking forward to on this card, mate? Card.
Yeah, it is for me the title fight, Aaron Abbey versus Sam Creasy. So, you know, the story, and again, it's and I'm open with it. I've been best friends with Aaron Abbey for a long time, through some hard times, and blessed to know the guy. But Sam Creasy has been someone I have been a big fan of for a very long time as well. I got messages going back from like 2017 when we were trying to look at bringing him across to another promotion that I was working for, and I've just been astounded at how good he is. He almost blows my mind that he's not in the UFC.
100%.
The only fights he's lost, apart from one where he lost the decision, I feel like he was winning every fight and then he got caught. And he's never lost back to back. He's held the Cage Warriors title twice. He beat the hell out of Aaron Abbey. Like, took him down 12 times in a fight, not in a round, over the 3 rounds. And he's good everywhere. He's a big flyweight. He's phenomenal on the feet. His grappling is great. He's got great fight IQ, makes good decisions in there. Looks great as well. He looks like a martial artist. Like the samurai nickname is perfect for him. And I feel like it's going to be a different fight from the first one, because I feel like AB was 2, so he would have been a year out of remission. So if you look at him now, he's much physically stronger. But Sam Creasy is a guy who lives by martial arts. His whole life is about martial arts. It's about getting better every single day through martial arts. So if you are to look at him and think he stood still in that time, you'd be an idiot. So I feel like it's going to be a different fight. Obviously, the storyline with AB is phenomenal. And if he was to achieve the belt, then that would be, I think, one of the most crazy, and I'm talking in life, comeback stories of all time, from being born and told he'd only lived to 16 to, testicular cancer, becoming a professional athlete, coming back from that, told he'd never fight again. That is, it's the type of story that should inspire everybody. But again, when you look at it as a legit flyweight title, I remember when we were talking, so we were talking to Andre and Pavel and the matchmaker about potential fights for him. And there was a few names flying around, and nothing quite hit until we started talking about Sam Creasy. And we went back and we watched the fights. I told them some of his stories, and it was unanimous. They were like, this is what the belt deserves. Like, whoever walks away from this is the true flyweight champion. So for me, there's so many angles on it. But the most, I don't know if it's exciting is the one, but the thing that makes it right for me is it's legit. This is a legit flyweight title fight, and whoever is that better man on that night deserves that belt 100%.
No, excellent, mate. So, like you say, it is legit. There's the rematch aspect from it, is the way that the last fight went. Like you say, with Az being in remission at the time, he's a completely different fighter now to what he was then. Like he is, how many fights has he had now? 17 fights. Fucking calm down. 7 fights and 7 fights in the last, was it 14 months or something?
Yeah,
Maybe even
just
less.
something like that. So yeah, I think it will hit. I think he'll be hitting 8 fights in 16 to 18. Yeah, 70, something like that. So it's in under 2 years.
His activity has been incredible
mad.
for somebody with that was
At
diagnosed
a good level as well. You're not looking at
Yeah.
fights which could get pulled from your Tapology record because of the type of opponent you're up against. No, you're on international promotions, whether it's been Cage Warriors, UAE, and now Oktagon. So, yeah. But Sam Creasy, 2-fight win streak since he lost the belt to Sarge Hack, and he's just so good everywhere, man. Like he is.
Yeah.
He's
the number one flyweight in the UK for a reason, mate.
For a reason, and he deserves it. He deserves it. So for me, it's exciting because it's I'll get to see how it unfolds. It'd be emotional because I know the story of AB and I know it so closely. But yeah, the thing that excites me most is that it's a proper fight, mate. It's a proper fight, proper main event.
I think it's a fans fight, isn't it? I mean, like if you're a big MMA fan, it's one of those ones that you just, as soon as you've seen it, you're like, fucking yes.
Yeah.
I mean, like
that's the right reaction.
Fucking yes. Like, I got the heads up maybe a few days before the announcement, maybe a little bit before it, and I was just like, holy fucking shit. I was like, that is absolutely incredible. I was like, that is insane, mate. I can't believe that fight's actually came. I was like, how the fuck have they brought Sam Creasy over to go? What have they had to offer this man to drag him over here and set this fight up? Yeah, I'm not genuinely
I think that no, it's fine.
It might just excite him.
I think the excitement is the challenge. I think the belt as well is obviously a big thing because of what it means now in Europe to be the Oktagon champion. And also the other stuff. This is the stuff that as a fighter you have to be aware of. If you're watching our shows and you see that Christian Jungwirth walk out in Stuttgart, or you see Eklund walk out in front of 20,000 fans in Cologne, you see the Czech Republic, you see the response that Kinsel gets when 20,000 fans go crazy as he walks out. They're the moments fighters want as well. And, you know, we're a way off creating 20,000 fans in the UK as it stands, but we'll get there. And this is the promotion that does it, you know, as far as you could be one of those fighters that experience those. We even took Paul Smith out to, where was he? It was the O2. And he got to walk out in front of 20,000 fans. And he's had, you know, he's done gigs as a solo comic in front of 15,000 or however much it is. And he came off, he said that was the best experience. Like the fans went nuts for him. And he didn't even get to fight that night. He just did it as a promo bit just to walk out. So I feel like it's the whole thing that comes with Oktagon. I think fighters are aware of it. The belt is 100% legit. The divisions are filling out, but those experiences as a gladiator, they're what you want, right? Corey Fries walked out in front of 20,000 fans. Prior to that, it was at UKFC, one of my favorite shows on the planet. And
you worked for them as well, didn't you?
I do. Whenever I can, I will still go back up there, mate. I love that show. That is, and again, when you talk about grassroots and doing the right things for fighters, they match fights so well. They're legit fights. They don't just give, you know, they don't bow to some people just want, you know, easy fights for just to go up, show up, do their thing, and then stick another one on their record. You go and watch UKFC. They from the juniors all the way through to the pro cards that they put on. It's some of the most competitive fights at that level that you're going to see, and that's credit to them and the gyms and the matchmakers that they work with as well, because you're not going to learn anything or much from going in and just, you know, finishing somebody in 20 seconds every time you make the walk. Whereas if you get truly tested and you grow as a person, the gym will grow. So yes, for me, the UKFC is great. So with all respect to them, that was the fight Corey Fry was walking out on before. So the Riva, the nightclub in Preston, and then the next fight he walked out was 20,000 fans in Cologne. It's those that you earn those moments. No one can give them to you. I think that's another big draw for some of these fights and these names. And there's more to come. There's more names still in talks now that will be dropping at some point that I'm sure people will go, wow, you know, ask the question, like, what is it that drew him there? But I think the whole experience that you can get from Oktagon is something that fighters are starting to see out the corner of their eye. They're going, what, you can do that? I could do that. Let's go.
Yeah. That's it, mate. I mean, they're just building, like they really are in the early stages, and I think getting on board with Oktagon now is probably one of the best things you could probably do for UK MMA. Obviously, gave a nod to Corey Fry there. Big shout out to Corey, the
guy.
sniper, mate, legend, absolute legend. I reached out to him after his last fight. Unfortunately, never went his way, but I can't wait to see him back in there.
That's a tough fight. That's a tough fight, and he should have a name now. I think we got a name for him, but yeah, I'll let him break that news. But he's again, what a great guy, what a good fighter as well. Again, Holzer as well. Max Holzer is so good on the ground. He's phenomenal. So I always knew that was a tough matchup for Corey, and that's the gap he's got to bridge, because everyone's going to try and take him down, because that nickname, the Sniper, is thank you very much. Just had Power League brought to me, my friend. There we go. Thank you.
Nice.
So yeah, that nickname is for a reason. He's got that touch. He's got that absolute knockout power, that death touch. So everyone's going to take him down. So now he realizes, and I think he kind of knew it before, but now him and I know Steve Nightingale is really pushing him to do the extra rounds when it comes to grappling. Yeah. Which is the miserable rounds, right? If you're the king of the mat when you're on your feet, and then you have to go and get mauled by these monsters, it's humbling.
That's why I raised the question at the press conference as well, because I said to him, I see you've been training with Az. Has it been a focus? You know what I mean? Has it been something that he's really, I probably never articulated it correctly to get a deep enough answer out of him just through nerves, but it was a nod towards, like, are we going to see a bit more of a grappling side from Corey Fry now rather than the sniper aspect?
Do you know what? I spoke to him. He was out with, who was he with? Karolina Wojcik in Stuttgart. And he was talking and said, I'm doing these rounds now and it's miserable. He's even going to a couple of other gyms and doing some sparring and getting some different bodies and things like that. I said, but if you can make yourself like Chuck Liddell, his defensive wrestling was so good. And then you would just stop you taking him down. And you just, I said, that could be the key. I said, but to do that, he said, because he said in the Holzer fight, he got taken down, I don't know what it was, like 4 times or something like that. And he said, but I got taken down like 3 times in the whole training set, in the whole camp. And you're like, well, that's the problem, right? You need, and they are monsters up there. You look at Jordan Chester, Steve Nightingale, Aaron Abbey, all that type of stuff, but they'll know each other's games and they'll know he had to stifle and do this type of stuff. I said, so you and again, it's part of the journey, isn't it? You got to fill these gaps and figure out where the holes are to do what you can. And I was just like, if he was like Chuck Liddell, because that was just, he had just the best defensive wrestling, which meant you had to stand with you, and then he'd just knock you out. Then that's it. Yeah.
You can change it from the Sniper to the new Iceman.
The new Iceman. He's got the look, right? He's similar, right? Yeah. He's
got a mean fucking mug when he wants to. To be honest, like if he wants to stare you down, mate. You see some of these fighters when you look at them, you're like, that's a scary looking dude, isn't it? Yeah,
I sometimes forget that, because again, I'm a dickhead, and so I get really comfortable and friendly with them, and I mess around or whatever else. But occasionally you'll see somebody and you'll have forgotten, like even Brad Pickett he's like having a kid around. I did so many shows with him, traveled the world with him, and he's like having this kid around, but then there'd be somebody who'd just piss him off a little bit, and you'd see this energy, like a change. You go, oh yeah, I forgot you could beat 99% of the human race outside. So there's me pranking him or playing stupid jokes on him, and I'm like, oh, I need to be a little bit careful with some of this stuff, because these guys are nice, but it's that whole thing. I'd rather be a warrior in a garden than a gardener in a war. Is that the right way of phrasing it?
I get the
you understand
the behind it.
So I forget that these are warriors in gardens. They're just being nice. But they could quite easily just
snap you in half if they wanted
to.
Yeah,
quite literally.
That's I always like, because I mean, I like having a laugh and a joke and all the rest of it, and I like a bit of banter, but you're like, better fucking watch me mouth with what I say with some of these people. Even earlier today when Frim put up that fucking April Fool's.
Oh shit!
No,
I saw it.
So he put up and I literally woke up this morning, just went onto Instagram, started having a little flick through, and then I seen it. I was like, do you know that way it never clicked that it was the 1st of April yet? And I'm flicking through it. I was like, and I just saw the big X, and I was like, fuck off! And I started scrolling. I was like, hang on, wait a minute.
Mate. I was like, mate.
So I just commented going, you dirty bastard. So you almost got me there. And then after it, I thought, Shit, I just called him a dirty bastard. Is he probably gonna fucking chin me when he sees him? But nah, he's
They'll
cool.
right.
I know.
They'll be
He's
all
sound
right,
of it.
mate.
So obviously, Bryan, you have your content of your 5 reasons why. If you drop that for Birmingham yet?
No, that'll be coming out beforehand. I could give you many reasons why, but yeah, that's just a little hook for people. It's to find out maybe some of what I think is worth watching, and maybe some extra bits. Then we got the little hypes that drop every week now. So every Thursday they come out, and they're just like mini hypes. It's just not too serious. Definitely give you some information, but just more about someone breaking in, mate. What's going on?
No, mate, I'm letting the dog out because he's
letting the dog out. There you go. Oh, there you go.
Go on, mate.
What dog is it?
What a Staffy, but he's 13 now, so he's
dude, I can trump you. I've got my Staffy cross bulldog that came in a little while ago. 14 and a half now, mate.
Oh, nice, mate.
14 and a half, but there's every so often, she's been my bet. Like, again, it's properly my dog as well, so just waits up for me, just follows me around everywhere.
Yeah.
And also when I was a comic and getting home at 2 a.m, sat there wagging her tail for the whole thing. But there's little moments now where she's just laying on me. I'm like, I'm gonna miss you.
I know, mate. Well, he was actually diagnosed with a brain tumor last year. We were told 2 to 4 months left to live, mate. It fucking broke my heart. Like you say, my little best mate has been. Yeah. So literally see me go through my 20s into my 30s.
Yeah.
Like literally, I've gone from like getting like a job, working my way up in a job. You know what I mean, to management, and not like anything I've had in life and succeeded in life, he's been right there by my side.
100%.
So yeah. I'm just like, and I'm gonna lose him soon. You know what I mean? But we got told 2 to 4 months. And he's now almost 12 months past it. Like, and I'm just like, the little Staffies,
mate. They're great. I mean? We had dog stories. This is more my thing, mate. So she is 14 and a half now. So yes, we took her to the vets, and she had a growth on her spleen, and they weren't sure if it was anything or nothing. And they said, we can take it out. Now, obviously at 14, I'm like, well, is it worth it? Or do we, make her more comfortable or whatever else? And the vet was like, no, we it's fairly easy. It should be in and out in less than a day. So she'll be with us. And and the vet said I wouldn't recommend it because everything else is great. The heart of all the stuff is great. So let's do it. And let's take it out. So we know. And we did the operation, and again, because she is another child, she is like, it was part of the family. So what has happened though, because she's older, I don't like leaving her with dog sitters now. So my wife again looks after the dog, so I'd go on these trips and all that sort of stuff. So Hannah's missed out on coming to some quite amazing places because she's looking after the dog. She'd never say that's the thing, but the vet did the operation. She went, we took it out and we've done all the blood tests and all this, and she said, I reckon you'll get about another 2 years out of this dog. And I smiled, and Hannah just went, fuck you. She thought she was on the home stretch. She thought, but for Prague, I'm off to America, I'm doing this. And I'm like, I'm no, free. You're looking after the dog for it, maybe. But whether she makes it or not. But it was so funny watching the 2 different reactions, because I was like, oh, it's amazing. And I actually felt Hannah kind of just shake her head a little bit, like, come on, die.
I know. As harsh as that is, but I'm sure she'll be very sad as well.
I'm joking. She is the best. She is Hannah is the best. The way she looks after everything while I'm away doing all this mad stuff. So but it was very funny instant reaction. She didn't mean to let it out, but she kind of just went, fuck's sake.
I know. Yeah. He had a lump in the side of his neck, and that was kind of one of the first signs of it a few years ago when he had it operated, got it taken out, and then they're like, right, don't let him jump, don't let him do this, I just looked at the vet like, are you fucking daft? I was like, have you ever owned a Staffy? Like, there's not a fucking chance I'm stopping him from jumping on out, like launching himself through anywhere, spinning around doing zoomies in the house, because he goes fucking nuts and just runs backwards.
They're the best, mate. They are the best dogs.
I literally walked out of the vet, got to the car, fucking boom, and I put him into the passenger seat next to me. And what did he do? He decides, I don't want to be sitting in the front. I'm jumping through this gap into the back seat, and I'm like, you've got this big scar coming down your neck. You're literally just out of surgery, and you just don't even care.
They are the best. They're nails, mate. Absolute nail. But the best dogs, like you say, Lola's been through everything in my life. And while even when I was doing comedy, and you leave your wife and your kid at home, that was security. You know, she's soft as anything, but
I was about to say security for what, mate? They're the softest.
Yeah, that's it. But you
get a bad rep. They wouldn't have done shit if anybody.
Yeah, really, absolutely not. But it just made Hannah feel happy that there was one there. But it was talking dogs, mate. This honestly, If I could do a podcast with dogs, that would probably be my my second dream.
We'll wind that up for another time, mate. I mean, I could talk about dogs for days and days and days. Like, I did say to them, like, as you're on that there about, oh, your missus thinking, fucking yes, here we go, gonna get some free time. I have said to the missus, obviously, we've got a daughter now, 2 years old. I'm like, when he does go, maybe she loves him. She like them two. Like she's stealing him from me. I mean, them two are best mates. Like it's unbelievable. She follows him around, curls up with him on the couch. Some patience he's got with her too, because she just terrorizes him daily. To be honest,
but
best.
I
was like, I think we'll wait a few years until we get another one, just so we can have that freedom and that time to like, right, we want to go on holiday.
I give you about 6 months, mate. I know,
yeah,
6 months because exactly.
I know, mate. I know. I mean, it's not the first dog I've had in my life, but it's the first staffy I've had in my life, and I don't think I'm going anywhere else.
They're the best. They are the best.
He's staring at me now, going, "Will you stop talking to people?
Yeah. Listen,
fucking dickhead." And I want to go for a walk, mate. So we'll wrap this up. We've just been over an hour now, Bryan. So it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you.
I'm going to ask you, mate. I'm going to ask you, what's the fight you're looking forward to? Don't think you're getting away lightly, mate. Don't ask all the questions.
Sound. So main event, mate. Aaron Abbey versus Sam Creasy.
I've done that one. What's your second one?
The second one, probably Shem and Katakoli. That is an absolute banger of a fight, like you say. I don't think, obviously Shem gets a lot of hype up behind him. He's got a massive following, a massive fan base that are going to think it's going to be a walk in the park for Shem, but it ain't, and it's going to be a firework of a fight, and I can't wait to see that one.
Yeah, I think that's a great shout. That one, Frimpong versus Mullen. I mean, there's so many good ones.
Yeah,
so many good ones. So people should get tickets, right? Ticketfactory.com. Come and join us April 20th.
Boom, get them. You got Cage Warriors in Glasgow, but fuck that. Come down to Birmingham. Jump on it.
We're dragging you out of Scotland to come down.
Yeah, mate. Well, that was the thing. Actually, you might have seen I'm doing a giveaway now, because I had 2 tickets for Cage Warriors before this was announced. And I was like, do you know, actually, I reached out to Scott the other day, but I need to try and reach him again, because he's not got back to me just about information when it's all going down. I know, mate. Scott's an absolute legend. Like I couldn't believe it when he gave me the opportunity last time when he did, because like you say, you've got your media presence of elsewhere, then you've got me, a random dad from fucking the northwest of England.
Hey, random dad with a 14-year-old staffy. So you get VIP in my eyes, mate.
That's it. Boom, sweet. I'm just going to turn up and say I'm with Bryan. Let me in. That's it.
As long as you got your dog, mate. If it's just you, forget it.
I can bring him. Don't worry about that. His farts are absolutely humming at the moment with the steroids that he's on, but I can bring him, mate. He'll clear out the arena, to be honest with you, but he'll be there.
Okay.
So yeah, give us 2 fights that people may not know about. Then, if you want to play this game back and forth, 2 fights people may not know about that they should keep an eye on.
Who should they keep an eye on? Let me think. Mick Stanton's making his debut for Oktagon, which is big again for him to come across, taking on Wojciechowski, who is a beast of a Polish fighter, as Polish as they get. So I think that could steal it, because Stanton is he's been at Oktagon, he's seen it, he's been in the corner of Lee Chadwick and people like that, so he's seen the size of the shows, and I think that rejuvenates people. If you think he's done, you'd be a fool to think that, because I think he is he's still got a lot to give in this spot, and you talk about exciting fights, and exciting fight he can make. He could be a big name once again under the Oktagon banner. Who else have we got? Even kicking off the card, Megan Morris against Alves. Megan Morris, that fight she had in Oktagon, her debut against Veronika Smolkova. I had to think then, Veronika Smolkova, there was a point in that first round when she was getting absolutely battered, and she went back to the corner. I've called quite a few of Megan's fights, even to the point where I called her winning the gold at the IMAFs. The bronze or gold, whichever, she's medals. There we go. The gold. And there was a point where she was ready to quit, and she even went, like she said to me, I thought I was done. And Steve Nightingale, again, showing important the corner is, brought her back round. And from that, she went on to not just win, but finish that fight against Smolkova. Megan Morris is the most gentle, wonderful, beautiful human being inside and out, but there is a dog in her as well. Like she showed what she's about. Alvarez is coming out of All Stars, so she's based there now, and she's very dangerous. And I think, as a fight to kick it off, and especially the ladies taking center stage to start with, that is going to be free on the YouTube channel for people outside of the UK. It'll be part of the Channel 4 package already, but I think that could set the tone for what could be a very exciting night of fights, mate.
Oh, excellent, mate. Honestly, this card is stacked from bottom to top, right on through. It's probably one of the best looking UK cards that we've got so far in 2024. And we've got 2 more coming from Oktagon in the UK, don't we, this year? Yeah, I mean, this is only two of 4. So you got any cheeky inklings there?
I would say after the summer, keep your diary free for some date in September, mate. That's what I will say, but I won't say where. And then
I'll ask the bosses in 3 weeks, mate.
That's right. Just throw them the question. I get my hands slapped for them. They feel like they can say whatever they want whenever they want. It's like they pay the bills. But that's the other great thing about, I think, Oktagon, like the interaction you can have with Pavel and Andre, because they are so unique. And as far as taking risks and laying it on the line to build what they've built, and then just to be as, you could ask them anything. Like you could sit there and have a beer with Pavel and Andre, and they would be open to that. They'd just sit and chat to you and talk to you and find out what you like about the sport. And I think that's the other thing. So yeah, definitely ask them, mate. Definitely ask them. Do not serve them. Do not serve them in England. I made the mistake because in Prague, the Czech Republic, the big beer over there is Pilsner Urquell. And they serve it with a really big head, so it comes out. In England, people will be pushing it back, but there's a reason they talk you
get
through
a fucking fight for that. What's going on?
Yeah, exactly. All that stuff. So I took Andre to London, and we found a bar with Pilsner Urquell, and they served it in with the little head. And I've never seen it like I've seen him angry. He was so upset. He was like talking to the bar, "What the hell is this?" But if the barman served it any other way to any other human in London, they'd have probably got slapped. But yeah.
You can't go wrong with a Czech beer, mate. You really can't. I went there for a stag do a few years ago, and it was probably one of the best. I can't remember much of Prague. I can't remember much of the weekend, but it was probably one of the best weekends of my life. Some questionable football, and I almost got stabbed by a homeless man on a bench. But that's a story for another day.
That could be Prague or Hull, mate. So it's
doesn't matter where you are.
Yeah, exactly.
That's it. I was going to say that. Yeah, so I spoke to the bosses after all the press conference and everything was done. You know what I mean? I hung around just to go up and say, "What fucking great show! Really enjoyed it. Thanks for having me." I just wanted to reach out and say that to them. Stood and spoke to me for like 5 or 10 minutes after it. Yeah, you know what I mean, and I said to Pavel, I said, "Anybody ever told you that you look like Jurgen Klopp?" Because he does a little bit. That's what I was like. Looking at him going, he's got a very Jurgen Klopp look about him. And he was like, Jurgen, he was like, no. I was like, well, the job's going. I'm not sure how that one went down, but it was funny. But nah, they're great guys. And I think you probably could go and speak to them. It is great that they attend these press conferences and sit down and answer the questions.
Mate. They are great. And I think it's one that when I spoke to them about working with them, it was actually, and again, I didn't know much. It was the mystique about them and how they were doing what they were doing. That was one of the big draws. And they are genuine, passionate, and superhuman. So good guys.
Yeah, and you can tell they've got a genuine passion for the fight game too. Even in interviews that I've seen them talking about it, what they want to achieve. I think there was one even just this week or last week or something. They were talking about what they want to achieve and their beliefs and their dreams and where they want to go with it. And it's just incredible to see. But anyway, mate, I'm going to let you get away. An hour and 12 minutes here of
smashing, mate. I've enjoyed it. It's been a pleasure. And hopefully the garden should be done. I should be ready to go out there and avoid all jobs now. So I appreciate it.
That's it. You can go and sit down, crack open a beer and chill out with the dog whilst the missus goes and sort something else out.
There we go. All right. Pleasure, mate. Really good to talk to you.
Mate. Thank you very much. Take care. See you in Birmingham.